Well, this morning, summer camps are in full swing, and there was a new warning from the CDC tied to a growing health concern, measles.
Our health expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joins us now to break down the CDC's new summer camp guidance and what parents need to know. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Such an important topic. I just talked to my brother and sister-in-law because their kids are off to camp.
Oh, yeah, we're all about camps right now because, what do you do with kids in the summer?
True.
That's a whole other thing. So first, talk to us a little bit about, measles cases in Colorado and the numbers, just to calm the fears of parents out there.
Yeah, so small numbers still. We have about 14 confirmed cases. Now, there could be more that are undetected or underdetected, but certainly because it is such a contagious illness, the CDC has sort of issued a warning throughout the country saying that if you're sending your kids off to summer camps, and for most people running summer camps, they really should try to either prove vaccination or immunity for not just the kids that are attending, but especially the workers and such as well, because otherwise measles can spread quite efficiently.
And what is the reason to focus on summer camp specifically?
So kids are actually a big vector for spreading measles for a number of reasons. In fact, so far of all the cases, about 2 out of 3 of them seeming to be occurring in kids and adolescents. Part of that is because they may not have gotten all their doses of the vaccine, but part of it is just the close quarters and personal hygiene and what have you with young kids. And they can spread the infection before they have symptoms. So that's a common thing with measles. You start to become infectious before you have symptoms. You can start to put others at risk without realizing it.
Schools, daycares, camps, they just like boogers.
You know what, though? I'm surprised by how many adults have bad hygiene, too.
Yeah.
I sit there, and I do judge in the bathroom if I watch you walk past those sinks and not wash your hands.
Whole other thing.
Yeah.
All right, so are kids high risk for measles?
So they can be, and this is the thing, it's different from COVID and flu. We used to always say, oh yeah, the older adults are higher risk, but in cases of measles, it can actually make young kids very sick, especially infants, but even young kids and adolescents. I mean, you can have long-term consequences like blindness, deafness, permanent neurological damage. So it's not just a cold, especially if you're not vaccinated, it can cause long-term sequelae. So we really want to try to keep our kids as protected as possible.
Absolutely. So what's the checklist for parents sending their kids off to camp?
So the first thing I would say is your camp instituting this immunization policy. So have they made sure that the workers and the people at the camp, the camp counselors and such are vaccinated. Second, make sure your child has had at least 2 doses of the vaccine. Now, we normally get the vaccine when we're growing up at age 1. And then again between 4 and 6. So 2 doses offer 97 to 98% protection against measles. So very highly effective vaccine. So make sure that your child is up to date, not just on the MMR, in fact, on everything else out there, Tdap and what have you as well. And then third, you want to talk to your kids about hygiene. I think that's really important because a lot of times kids don't realize about washing hands and sharing glasses or utensils or what have you with other kids at camp. So especially just kind of sit down and have a little chat with your kids about that. And then finally, I like to always touch base with the pediatrician as well before you send your kids off to camp, just to make sure there's not an EpiPen that needs to go with them or any other medications or an inhaler or anything else that they might need.
It is a lot to think about,
Yeah.
for parents sending their kids off to camp. So appreciate you coming in. Thank you. All right, so again, you can find all of Dr. Kohli's appearances on 9news.com/Dr. Kohli.